caution. Your paradigm is about to shift at the intersection of fact and reason. You're entering Kingston Country.
I'm Dan Kingston, and you're listening to the Dan Kingston Podcast.
I think you called me a liar on national TV.
What?
I think you called me a liar on national TV.
Let's not do it right now. You want to have that discussion, we'll have that discussion. You called me, you told me.
The fact that Warren snubbed Bernie in such a public way, he genuinely looked hurt. And then Tom Steyer came in the middle like, hey guys, you're on camera. Break it up. Warren didn't care. She was pissed, angry, vitriol on her. And that's okay. It's okay for a woman to be angry. I mean, she certainly is all the time. And I noticed that during that exchange where they asked if Bernie said, can a woman be president? That in fact, Bernie gave a very natural to me looking response. Like, I didn't say that. I would never say that, right? Warren, on the other hand, if you look, she goes to her nose twice with her finger. It's a telltale sign of a lie. She does it twice. She looks away, although she's always looking away and blinking. So I don't know how much that can play into it. Going to the nose twice. I don't know. I don't trust her. No, I don't trust her. I don't trust Warren at all. I think Bernie supporters, though, they're in a real bind right now because people seem to be giving Warren the benefit of the doubt on this one, given the Me Too culture. I think it's pretty mental in that Warren is the only one who's on record as a liar. Whenever somebody on the right talks about, let's say, bringing the troops home from the Middle East or domestic issues, and they happen to be a guy, and God forbid they happen to be a white guy, suddenly you're a white nationalist. That's what they label you, a white nationalist. We kind of see that happening with the Bernie bros. Now they're labeling Bernie bros as deplorables and trying to slander Bernie Sanders that way. Why do I care? Well, I just don't like to see that happen to anybody because it's not fair, because he actually is, of all the candidates yesterday on that debate stage, he had more energy than all of them put together, even post-heart attack, and he has more charisma. He's an old man, but, there's something about it. And he would be a worthy opponent. Okay, do I have to say Trump 2020, Trump 2020? But I'm saying he would be a worthy opponent. And don't you want a worthy opponent? It makes you better. It makes the game better. It makes people watching have a better time. Everybody advances and is benefited by having two strong candidates running for president of the United States. And it seems like the Democrats are hell-bent on getting in the way of that natural process and putting forward people that are inauthentic. Bloomberg and Biden and Steyer's like the West Coast Bloomberg, and Pete Buttigieg is like the infant Dukakis. Klobuchar is like your best friend's little sister from high school who always wanted to be included in everything. And it just, come on, Klobuchar, you're not invited.
This is Kingston Country.
Hi, thanks for calling the Dan Kingston Podcast. Can I have your first name and the city you're calling from?
Yeah, Houston, Texas, man. It's your buddy, Clever One Local 3D from Twitter. My name's Chad.
Chad, what is the topic you'd like to talk about, Chad?
You said impeachment. Let's go with it.
Nancy Pelosi, she didn't trip. I think she's okay. Last time I looked, I wondered what would happen if she fell and she broke a hip or something, because they seem to have a procedure for everything, but there's no process.
The whole thing's not all that well spelled out in the Constitution to begin with. But, everyone's agreeing that she lost this gambit, holding on to it for, 3 weeks now, and I'm sure someone would have walked it over there, but this whole thing's ridiculous. And this is why our president's great. While this was going on, he's signing a trade deal with China. So,
are you supportive of that trade deal?
Absolutely. They say it's phase one. Who gets more done later? But I mean, he's making progress. If I were him, I'd just ignore the whole thing.
I mean, even the leftists on CNN are saying that it's better than what we had before. What was the most fascinating part of the debate last night for you? I don't know if you caught any of it. For me, it was this. It was after. Yeah, right. So, what did you make of that? Who's telling the truth?
You called me a liar on national TV. Yeah, he did. I guarantee you, what probably happened in that discussion. Like, what was it? At the beginning of the campaign, they had this closed-door discussion with 2 other people in here, and somehow there's 4 witnesses to it. I guarantee, supposedly he said something, and I'm not a Bernie fan by any stretch. Like, I would probably actually move. I guarantee he said something about identity politics. He's got a problem with that. He was like, we don't need to have this, I'm a woman, I'm this color, I'm this race, I'm this religion, whatever.
Which is 100% right on.
She took that to mean, right. And so she bent it out of shape. She's known for, 1,024th Native American?
I mean, she went to her nose twice. I don't know if you saw that. Mm-hmm. It's a telltale lie, right? When someone goes to their nose, and she did it twice during the exchange. She's looking away. She's blinking. I'm just looking at it, and I'm saying, who looks honest? And there's one person who's on record as a liar.
Right. Yeah. The other thing I'm thinking, I'm going to have to go back and watch that again. There's some sort of thing. My dad was an FBI agent. He used to tell me when someone moves their eyes, I can't remember if it's to the left or the right. One side you're accessing your memory, and the other side you're sort of fabricating something.
So if you
like
look up, you're accessing memory. But she was looking down, and she's averting her gaze and blinking and going to her nose. And then they all afterwards, they take her side like he's the big bad wolf, and it's a brainwashing attempt. They're infiltrated.
They did that on TV. On Twitter, it was a whole different story. I mean, the people crushed her.
Mm.
I mean, Never Warren was trending for a while. Elizabeth is a snake, like all sorts of things. I know a lawyer down here in Houston who used to teach with her in a law school. And they taught the same classes. The woman I'm talking about, she's actually a GOP activist now. She worked on a couple of campaigns, or congressman, you probably know. But she said, like, she was the worst teacher she'd ever seen. And it got to the point where my friends' classes would fill up, and they were having to, like, forcibly move people into Elizabeth Warren's class. She's just the dumbest person.
Mm.
But
I couldn't take her for a second. She looks like the worst, most horrible. I mean, could you imagine having her as president? You just want to shoot yourself. It would just be just a nightmare, like nails on a chalkboard the entire time.
Oh, absolutely. I would just think, I mean, coming from that point of view on that side of the aisle, I mean, how old is Bernie Sanders?
Oh, well,
and how corrupt is that guy?
The crazy thing is that with a heart attack, he has more energy than all the rest of them put together. So I don't understand that. And I don't understand why he's going to be pushed out and sidelined because, the truth is, Chad,
exactly
I'm a sports player, in the past. And I say that it's no fun if you don't have a worthy opponent. I mean, what do you don't want to wimp.
Agreed.
You don't want to run against a wimp. I'm saying, look, the Democrats should just nominate their strongest person, but they're all focused on race and gender, and they're so confused.
But the DNC does its own thing. I mean, you remember back in 2016, I think some of that might have to do with the fact that Bernie's an independent. He doesn't pay dues to the party. He doesn't really, I mean, only in election years, he switches over and officially becomes a Democrat. That's the same thing. It just happened with AOC, that crazy person. She stopped paying her dues to the DNC, and now she wants to found. It's called like the Progressive Party. It's something even worse. But now they're talking about New York's going to lose a seat, and they're going to like just draw her district out. Like she won't even have to be defeated in an election. They're just going to get rid of her.
That would be hilarious. That would.
No, but the DNC is all about loyalty and scratch. I mean, they have super delegates. They have a party, VIPs that can vote for anybody they want. I think it's 2,100 votes, and 700 of those are the party, vote holders. That if that's not anti-democratic, I mean.
I got to ask you, because I ran a poll about extraterrestrials and our government, and I can't help but look that way.
But the poll shows that it's about split. I mean, people seem to think either it's zero or it's all of them.
You hear stories, you want to believe them. I mean, I think they've got stuff for sure. Like things like 0 point energy, if you look into that and things like that, like the whole Area 51 have, do we have these crashed ships or whatever? We might. I mean, there's things kind of pop out of nowhere. Technology-wise, I mean, it wouldn't do the world any favors if all of a sudden you could carry around something a little larger than a backpack and have free unlimited energy. I mean, there's all sorts of things. I mean, after we have like Space Fleet and the Nazis are still up there, and we have this program called Solar Warden that, controls alien traffic in and out of the solar system. And I mean, if it came out and we had it, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, when's JFK coming back? He's supposed to be vice president, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, supposedly our moon base, though, was built by the Nazis, and it was like in the shape of a swastika, and we took it over and kind of built it out a little bit to kind of obscure that. Nice touch. But,
I mean, anything could be true at this point. So, I mean, they say the world is flat, but I say it's probably 3D printed. If you look at the mountain strata, it's pretty obvious.
Well, that's what I do for a living. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely could be.
What's your take on that? Have you ever flown an airplane and seen how the mountains look like they're all layered?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, yeah, it's geological strata. But
that's not evidence of a giant alien 3D printed world?
It could be. I mean, why can you draw a line on a certain parallel around the world and there's pyramids in places where humans could have never contacted each other all around the world? I mean, there's all sorts of unexplainable stuff. When I was doing archaeology, we used to find stuff we couldn't figure out what it was.
Like what?
They just found, I'll give you an example. They found in Egypt, I did like the Western Mediterranean, or Eastern Mediterranean, excuse me, like sort of on the north side, like Turkey, Israel, around there. But in Egypt, they have their own Egyptologists that work there. But they found these, it looked like a brass needle. It was about 8 inches long. It had a central spine in the middle of it you could pull out. And they couldn't figure out what it did. They were pretty ornate, but it was made to be clean. It was made out of brass. They figured it was some sort of medical tool. They finally figured out that it was a cataract surgery tool. Like they would pierce your eyeball behind, into the lens and then pull out that central area so the bigger needle was hollow, and they'd suck out the cataract.
Oh, my God. Oh, well, I mean,
yeah,
that's great. Better than a torture device, which is where I was going.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. No, but I worked at Ephesus. Like, they had running water back then. I mean, Roman technology wasn't equaled until, 1900.
I heard they had, a battery or something, or a little computer.
Oh, yeah,
too.
And they find these, they call them the dodecahedrons or something. Like, it's like this box that's got 12 sides and has these knobs at the end of it.
What does that do?
We still don't know what it does.
Chad, what's your best guess for what that is?
I think it's probably something for spinning yarn or something like that.
I don't know. I mean, control?
Nah, nothing like that. But there's things, that travel really long distances. The pyramids is a really good example of that. You've got them in Central America, then you've got them in Egypt, and there's similar structures like on Pacific Islands and things like that. Then again, the most ancient civilization, the Sumerians, they didn't have a why are we here dilemma. Like they actually thought that they were created by an alien race. Like they said this.
Like the Scientologists.
Because they couldn't live in our gravity. Yeah, they're called the Anunnaki.
Well, I would go for that. It seems to me that the fact that all these civilizations built similar structures, like you're saying, and similarly, inventions throughout history seem to pop up around the same time all across the world, that maybe we're not actually as far apart as we think. I mean, maybe our minds exist on some kind of similar plane.
Oh, yeah, consciousness is poorly understood, for sure.
Well, these are thoughts we can just go down the rabbit hole forever. But
I know, yeah, we'll do that.
Very, very fascinating, and I appreciate you calling in, and please do so again, and stay in touch on Twitter. Thank you, Chad, for calling in to the Dan Kingston podcast.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Good luck.
This is Kingston Country.
So it looks like we're all right about that Iranian plane crash, at least it's very possible that it was both accidental and intentional. There were two missiles that were separated by 23 seconds apart. This is from reporting in the New York Times. Now, logically, it seems that the second missile was sent up for a deliberate reason. Okay, the first missile, yeah, I can understand it was a mistake, although the New York Times reports that the plane was climbing quick in a takeoff trajectory. There were 19 flights that took off before that, so why was this the one that confused them so much? And there was nothing particularly strange about the flight path, again, according to the New York Times. After the first missile hits, wouldn't you have somebody saying, like, Mayday, Mayday, I'm getting shot with a missile? You'd think that the military base would be able to hear airline chatter or be able to switch their radio on and hear that. And if it was broken, maybe the next guy had one that would work. I mean, somebody had to hear a pilot screaming, we've been hit, we've been hit. Unless all their comms were busted. But then what's the point for a second missile? Because you'd seem to realize you made a horrible mistake even without a pilot screaming. It seems that you'd see like, oh, that doesn't look like a cruise missile we hit. That's acting differently than a hit cruise missile. This looks, oh my God. And then they sent a second missile. And the horrifying thing that comes to my mind is that it was deliberately sent, the second missile was deliberately sent to silence the pilot and the passengers and those stories. Hey, we got hit by an Iranian missile. They were hoping they could cover this up. I think the second missile potentially was sent to cover up the first missile. Okay, I understand 23 seconds isn't long, but it kind of is in a crisis where your adrenaline is pumping through your blood, time freezes, at least it slows down. And you can just imagine the horror. I mean, I can't imagine the horror on that airplane. 23 seconds before the second missile hit. After this happened, the people of Iran were pissed. Several protesters in Iran have been shot in the back, according to witnesses and videos. Ultimately, it's just more rationale for us to leave this awful desert hell. Let the Iranian government topple on its own. We're going to get sucked in this. And I really think we got to get the ground troops out of the Middle East before we get sucked in, whether it's Iran or Libya or Syria, defend the Kurds, or what else happens over there is inconsequential compared to the North Korean and Chinese threat. And actually, more importantly, the threat of a decaying middle class here at home.
Kingston Country. You've been listening to the Dan Kingston Podcast.
Dan Kingston here. Are you fed up with the mainstream media? Do you want to support citizen journalism? The Dan Kingston Podcast is dedicated to asking questions and exploring topics the mainstream media won't touch. If you enjoy this content, would you help me give you even more for less than $1 a month? Yeah, less than $1 a month. You can help me do just that. And it's as easy as using Apple Pay or any credit card. And by the way, I'll be thanking sponsor names, your name, at the beginning of each podcast episode. So would you consider signing up for less than $1 a month? Find the link to become a sponsor in the description of this podcast episode or visit anchor.fm/Dan Kingston. Thank you in advance for supporting citizen journalism and helping me provide you with even more content. I really appreciate it.